of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain up to 5 requests for 1-minute speeches on each side of the aisle. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Our nation is confronting an unprecedented pandemic, unlike what any of us can remember. Our role in the Congress is to be proactive and ensure public health officials have the resources and the tools that they need to keep our community safe in the coming weeks and months. Prompt action is needed to address this extraordinary situation, and the Families First Coronavirus Response Act begins to meet the needs of many people in our communities. The legislation ensures testing is 100% covered, paid sick leave. It ensures that food and economic assistance goes directly to hard-working men and women and families deeply affected by the outbreak. It also provides much-needed financial assistance to the states to meet this critical public health challenge that they are facing right now. Leaders must lead. People are legitimately afraid, but together we have to work together to address this issue.
Does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the extension of the Chemical Facility Anti-Terrorism Standards Program. The CFATS program, first authorized in 2006, is a continuation of congressional efforts since September 11th to protect the homeland. The program surgically and directly addresses gaps in federal law regarding the security of high-risk facilities that use or possess chemicals of concern at levels of concern. The program is unique in that, to avoid overlapping with other federal programs, CFATS was designed to foster collaboration between the government and regulated parties. CFATS is a security program. Regrettably, over the years, some have tried to make CFATS a safety program. But safety and security are two very different things. Security is about protecting your ability to operate, and safety is about controlling how you operate. We should continue to preserve the program's focus on security. Finally, it is imperative that going forward we find a way to extend the life of the program for a longer period of time, at least 5 years, in order to give the program, its personnel and participants, the consistency they all need to be successful in their mission. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield back my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Rhode Island seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, today the House will vote on the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. This critical legislation provides much-needed support for working people across America. It includes funding for free coronavirus tests for everyone who needs it, 14 days of paid sick leave and up to 3 months of paid family and medical leave, enhanced unemployment insurance that will protect furloughed workers, food security through SNAP, student meals, seniors nutrition and food banks, and increased federal funds for Medicaid. We're facing an enormous crisis in our country right now. Once we pass this bill, the Senate and the President need to act swiftly so these resources are made available to the American people. I want to thank Speaker Nancy Pelosi and all of our colleagues who worked so hard on this over the last several days. Nothing is more important than protecting the health and well-being of the American people. There's more work to be done, and we'll do whatever it takes, bear any burden, confront any obstacle in order to minimize the damage that this pandemic will do to our country, and do all that we can to keep our country and our constituents safe. And with that, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. The prevailing thought has been things will get worse before they get better. Recently, it appears the worst part is here. Necessary measures are being taken as we've learned more about this virus. We now have a new term, social distancing. Small businesses, though, are suffering. Tourism, the economy in general. This outbreak is causing a lot of hurt. Now more than ever, it's important to support our local small businesses. They're the backbone of our economy and are experiencing a decline that we haven't seen in a long time from the recent coronavirus outbreak in their towns. The failure will result in a much larger problem for a country that has proven to be quite resilient in the face of the fires so far. The SBA is offering disaster resistance loans for small businesses impacted by the virus. The issue is to ease and cushion our economy so that in a few weeks we can start our bounce back. And indeed, we will bounce back. Last week's measure will help our health providers. Hopefully this week's economic package, not chock full of social wish lists by the Democrats, but something that actually be helpful to stabilizing the economy and affordable at the same time. I hope we can accomplish good work this week. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New Hampshire seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, the House of Representatives will consider the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and critical legislation to expand paid emergency leave for American workers to ensure free coronavirus testing, to bolster unemployment insurance for furloughed workers, and to strengthen our safety net for workers and students experiencing food insecurity due to closures. Democrats and Republicans must continue to advance this emergency legislation to protect the health and economic security of the American people. The coronavirus does not choose Republican or Democrat, and the American people are looking to this chamber for swift and decisive leadership. I want to thank our frontline nurses, doctors, physicians, public health officials, and first responders for their tireless and courageous effort to keep Granite Staters safe. You are heroes to all of us, and you are bringing needed comfort to those who have been impacted by this public health crisis. Thank you.
Gentlewoman's time's expired. For what purpose does the gentleman from Washington seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I request unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Captain Moses Navas and Gunnery Sergeant Diego Pongo, both Marine Raiders, lost their lives on March 8th while on a mission to eliminate ISIS terrorists in Iraq. I met Captain Navas last year when he spoke at a ceremony to rename a local post office in honor of his fallen comrade, Sergeant Dietrich Schmiemann, a Central Washington native. With great poise and humility, the captain said at the time, and I quote, "We can all sleep well and find comfort in knowing that it's Americans who raise their hands. This nation's defense is in the hands of guys such as Dietrich Schmiemann." Madam Speaker, it's imperative that we not lose sight of the fact that, as we speak, the brave men and women of our armed forces are standing guard to keep our nation safe. Today I rise to echo those powerful words from a brave young captain, pictured here alongside Sergeant Schmiemann's parents at the post office dedication, to say that we can indeed sleep soundly because of heroes like Moses, Diego, and Dietrich. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Address the chair, revise my comments for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to honor my friend and fellow Hoosier, Sid Eskenazi. He will be celebrating his 90th birthday this March 25th. Sidney is a true philanthropist and civic leader. He and his loving wife Lois serve as pillars of our Hoosier community and role models for future generations. Without their charitable efforts, many Hoosiers would not have access to higher education, the fine arts, and quality health care. Indiana is indebted to the Eskenazis for their leadership and generosity over the past 5 decades. The Pence family, my wife, my children, are truly blessed to consider Sidney and Lois close friends, and we thank them for serving our communities with a true servant heart. God bless Sid and Lois and I look forward to continuing to work with them for the benefit of Hoosiers everywhere. Happy birthday, Sid. I yield my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute, Madam Speaker.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I came down this morning after hearing Father give his opening speech to address this House and to address this nation today at these hollow halls to send the message that today is not a day to engage in partisan politics. As a Republican, my hand is open to my fellow Americans for us to come together to stand with our nation as we face this coronavirus crisis across the country. Madam Speaker, the people of America is who we represent, and they are not Democrat and Republican. They are American, and now is the time to lead with smart, targeted decision-making proposals that will improve their lives for the better. God bless.
No. The chair lays before the House sundry communications.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, this is to notify you formally pursuant to Rule 8 of the Rules of the House of Representatives that I, Nina Marie Andrews, have been served with a subpoena for testimony issued by the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. After consultation with the Office of House Employment Counsel, I have determined that compliance with the subpoena is consistent with the privileges and rights of the House. Signed sincerely, Nina Marie Andrews, Special Assistant, Office of the 28th District of Texas. The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, this is to notify you formally pursuant to Rule 8 of the Rules of the House of Representatives that I, Travis Knight, have been served with a subpoena for testimony issued by the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. After consultation with the Office of House Employment Counsel, I have determined that compliance with the subpoena is consistent with the privileges and rights of the House. Signed sincerely, Travis Knight, Legislative Director, Counsel, Offices of U.S. Congressman Henry Cuellar.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Miami-Dade County has its first 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19, and we are all very concerned. Across the country, events are canceled, store shelves are empty, and with anxieties high, we're receiving mixed messages when what we need right now is coherent direction. It is discouraging to see countries like South Korea respond much more effectively than we are. While they screen tens of thousands, we have sick patients and frustrated doctors who cannot access testing, and this is not right. We must make tests available and accessible to everyone. We must strengthen our healthcare system so we have the beds, the masks, the respirators, and the supplies to respond to a surge in cases. And we must provide relief to our working families and local businesses struggling to cope with this virus. I believe we have it within us to fulfill these needs, but we all must come together for a comprehensive response to meet this moment. I urge my colleagues to support this legislation. I yield back.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.